Hello, my friends. It's Mrs. FB, and I am going to go over the rubric for your picture book. And I want to be sure that everybody is clear on how you're being graded, who's grading which portions, and what you need in each section. So if you have any questions at the end of this, please don't hesitate to contact me or Mr. Lum. So without further ado, here we go. The project is worth 40 points altogether, and Mr. Lum, your teacher, and I will be scoring this. I will be grading the requirements section, which is worth 6 points. It requires that all your pages are complete. That includes your covers, front and back, your front matter, 17 pages of story, 3 pages of back matter, your author info for each person in your group, and your citation. If you are missing or you have incomplete any of these sections, if you're missing 1 or 2, you're down to 5 points, 3 or 4, 4, etc. So that's how the requirements are being graded. The citations also being graded by me. You need 1 citation from Oxford Biblical Studies. That's all you need. It needs to be correct MLA format, except hanging indent is not required. What is required is the http:// needs to be removed. Okay, and you should be familiar with this, but if not, ask for help. Mr. Lum and I will show you how to do it and exactly where it is. You will use the Cite button on Oxford Biblical Studies to give you the main format, so this should be pretty easy. All you have to do is take off that http://. If you do that, 2 points, easy peasy. If not, then you will lose points. Information is worth 15, being scored by the teacher. This is being graded on whether your information is informative and factual, whether it's a well-developed story, and whether it has appropriate vocabulary for the audience and topic. Remember, your audience is 6 to 9 years old, so you need to use vocabulary that's appropriate for that audience, but you also need vocabulary that is appropriate for the topic. So it's going to be a tricky balance, and you need to work on that. If you're unsure, you could check with your teacher about that. You will lose points as you do not do those things as well. Spelling and grammar being graded by Mr. Lum, worth 2 points. You do have a little grace in this project because it is a long project and the spelling isn't or the spelling and grammar points aren't that high, so we do give you the grace of 3 spelling or grammar errors, although of course we hope you have 0. If you're having any questions about spelling or grammar, you can always check with me or Mr. Lum. Design elements. This is the other big piece of this project, also worth 15 points, and we're looking at these things over here on this side. Color, space, scale, balance, harmony. Does this flow together? Does it have some cohesion? Are any of your images, this pixelation doesn't really apply for this because you're doing all your own art, so I'm just going to even cross that out. Is it legible? Have you used negative space well? So negative space is any of this white space. Okay, we don't want your pages to be entirely crammed with information. If you do a full page illustration, that's fine, but we don't want you to put like the writing from one edge to the other edge of the page. There should be some negative space there, and we'll talk about that when we do our little example. Are your illustrations helping to present the plot? Because you're dealing with young readers rely on pictures to make sense of plot in picture books. So your illustrations should help present the plot. Are they neat and visually pleasing? You don't have to be Rembrandt or Picasso doing amazing art, but you have to do art that looks like you gave it some effort and it looks visually pleasing. You can do lots of different varieties of art, so ask if you have questions about that. We'll be happy to help you. Do you use color well? Kids like color, so make sure that you're using color. Have you done a good design? For example, do you have some elements that go all the way through your page? Maybe do you have a border that goes all the way through? Or do you use a series of colors, red, yellow, blue, all the way through, for example? Those are just examples. You don't have to copy those, but it's an idea. Is your text legible? And to get a 15, your fonts need to be used in interesting ways. So maybe you use some drop caps, or maybe you have your text going down the page. So for example, if you were talking about raindrops and you wrote drip, 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 maybe your first drip is on one line and your second drip is on the next line and your third drip is on the next line, so that it looks like raindrops dripping or something. We'll show you some examples of that again, but in order to get your full points, you need to be thinking about being very creative in the design. 12, 10, 5, 0 are the rest of the points. Whether you do those things but not as well is how that's determined. If you're having any questions or concerns, you can always contact us. So again, design elements worth 15, spelling and grammar 2, information 15, citations 2, requirements 6. We are here to help. Library at Jesuit Mail is where you can reach us. And that goes both me and Mr. Lum. I guess I should have started that a little bit farther over to the left. Sorry. Library@jesuitmail.org. You can reach me or Mr. Lum at any time. Thanks.